It's time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, this week we saw those colder temperatures you said we should expect. How's the upcoming week look for us?
Well, Troy, indeed we did see the cold air, and unfortunately most of the major systems that moved through the region, if you want to call them major, basically brought us just light traces of precipitation outside of the end of the week storm, of course. We talked about that last week, the potential for a system moving into the Central Plains with a little bit more oomph to it, and that's exactly what we got. So we've seen the snow start to break out as we got into late Thursday at night into Friday morning. We've seen the warmer air come in behind it, change that snow over to a mixture of freezing rain, sleet, and back to snow as the cold front came through. Now we're dealing with the high winds as the heavier snowfall has moved off to our east. And so if we can get by this system, it looks like we're going to stay cold for a few days before we moderate in the middle of the week. And yet another system looks like it may start to impact the state as we get into late next week. So as we go to the upper air models, the first thing I'll draw your attention to is a system that is now responsible for bringing our snowfall has moved over into the Great Lakes region. We do have a strong jet stream that is going to bring in some colder air into our region as high pressure settles in. We do have another wave that will be moving down the pipeline, but overall, most of the snow that's depicted by the GFS model is for this morning. Everything should be cleared out by the noon hour, and then we will look for another impulse of energy moving down this northerly flow with high pressure behind it on Sunday, giving us a shot of flurry activity and some very cold temperatures moving into the region. We'll be fortunate to reach the 20-degree mark as we get into the Sunday-Monday time frame with that cold air settling in. By Monday, we start to see some relief in western Nebraska as the ridge tries to build northward. Low pressure forms in northeastern Colorado, but there's just no moisture for it to work with as this high pressure is blocking the movement of moisture northward. With that impulse coming through eastern Nebraska, just a slight chance of some flurry activity, nothing major to work about. And on Tuesday, we get a little wave that moves to our south. This may bring some cloudiness to southern Nebraska, maybe some slight chances for precipitation, but nothing major, as low pressure in the Texas Panhandle just doesn't have enough time to bring moisture into our region. The main emphasis of the story is in the western United States as the big upper air low moves in. By Wednesday, the GFS model brings it all the way to the southwestern desert. Might be just a little bit too fast, but if it is verified, we will see low pressure developing the Texas Panhandle or somewhere near there, starting to pump moisture up into our region on Wednesday. Most of this looks like it's going to stay to the east of us as the core of the heavy precip remains over the central Rockies. By Thursday, that low starts to make its way toward the Great Lakes. Surface low pressure is moving around this upper air low will really feed the moisture toward the north, and we will see a pretty wide expanse of thunderstorm development and severe weather breakout to our south. We'll start to see snow filling in the northwest, and by Friday that upper air low now moves into eastern Kansas with a surface low over southern Missouri. That's going to wrap a lot of moisture around this low pressure system, meeting up with this cold high coming on the backside. Looks like the perfect ingredient for a swath of pretty significant snowfall to potentially develop from south central through northeastern Nebraska. A little bit farther northwards placement of this system, and we will see this back up more into the central part of the state. Further out, looking at colder than normal conditions to remain, primarily because of this impacts from next Thursday to the following Tuesday. Warm air to our west will try to start building in as we get toward the first of the month in terms of precipitation. Most of the depiction from next Thursday to the following Tuesday with this above normal is with this storm system. So it looks like an overall stormier pattern as we get into late next week, but there are signs of a warming trend coming as we enter into the month of February.